Good afternoon. Gonna wait a few minutes, see if a couple people come on. Hope everybody has a chance to enjoy this absolutely beautiful day that came from out of nowhere after it's been freezing cold. Hey, cuz, how are you? It's always warm down there. That's unfair. I wish it was closer so I could just zoom down and come right back all the time. Just gonna wait a few more and then I'm just gonna talk. People can catch it on the replay and give me a thumbs up or a thumbs down, I don't care, but let me know that you've seen it on the replay at least. Today I was just gonna talk about catching up. I know, right? I haven't done a video in a few weeks. And when I don't do videos, hey cuz, my cousins are on here from both sides of the family. That's what's up. I love you guys. Thanks for your support. So anyway, I was saying that I haven't done a live video in a couple of weeks. And sometimes I just like to take a break from it because I'm human and, you start to second guess yourself or doubt your work. Whether you're reaching people, because not everyone knows how to reach out or share or tell you, that what you're saying affects them. We're still afraid to share our lives and share our stories sometimes. So I've been on I love you too. I've been on a whirlwind though. For some of you who follow me, I've gone to 4 funerals in 4 weeks. I did a 6-day tour of the southern East Coast I initially went for my ex's father who passed away. He was a very special man. He used to hit on me, crack me up. First time I met him, hey D, he made me laugh so hard. It was just the funniest thing. I think he was, I don't know. Hey James, he was 70 something years old. And he looked at my friend at the time and he said, boy, what you doing with that girl? You can't handle that. So Southern people, hey Ernie, Southern people have a way of communicating that really touches our soul. And so that was really cool. Thank you, babe. Thank you, Dee. So I left here. I went to Raleigh, North Carolina, and I visited my kiddo Sandy and her boys, and they've gotten so big. And then I spent some hours with them. I left there and I drove to to Florence, South Carolina, where the funeral was. And, I attended the funeral and I have relatives that live there. So I saw my aunts and my cousins. And then I bumped into, a childhood friend. Of course, he's older than me, but he knew me as a child. And he was our second or third African-American sheriff here in our county. And he was just always, I don't know, he always had this image, of course, to us, he's taller, bigger, so he's this big, handsome African-American man who always had a certain stature about him, and when you saw him, if you were doing anything bad, you just automatically stood up straight and acted right. But he followed my career, my history, once I left here. My mom passed away, for those of you who know, and I came back to New York, 34 years ago. Yep, Jazz, I told your age. Hey, Rock. And so he followed my growth and my history here as a businesswoman in the community. And any time that he would see a write-up about me or someone acknowledge me for, whatever it was that I had done, he would, either cut out a little article and he would send me the article or mail it to me or stop by my office and congratulate me. So that was just a very special thing for me. And also there are very few people who are left around that still knew my mom and dad. So he's Alfonso Gilmore is just a very special man to me. And I had the pleasure also of being able to help him move his family down there because, at the time I owned a trucking business, and so we helped move him down there. So that was really cool that I got to see him. I left from there. I went to Utahville, South Carolina, and that's where my mom is buried. Her desire, even though she lived in New York, she wanted to be buried next to, hey, Kath, next to her mother and father, and so she's buried there. So I went to go see her gravesite. and have a little talk with her, bring her up to date. Mwah, I love you too. And then I went to go see my dad's sisters and brothers. And it was really, really an awesome time. And I'm sharing this with you, not to tell you all about my little steps in life. I know nobody wants to see what you're eating or hearing or whatever. You know, people get sick of pictures of food, but I don't really care what you get sick of. What I want to share with you today is important messages about family, community, camaraderie, and understanding that we are human beings, so we are made to have connections. And because of this pandemic, we have had to look at life through different lenses, literally, through the Zoom lens, through the camera lens, and that's how we've been communicating so much. So for someone like me, who is really connected to people and enjoys people, it was a little frustrating in the beginning. But then I sat back and I said, okay, you know, what can I do with this, or how can I handle this? And I started to write some. So I started to write my book. I don't know what I'm writing about, but I'm writing. And I started to write some programs and ideas and thoughts and get things out of my head and onto paper. And then I started to watch other people and see what they were doing. Hey, Gary. And I realized that almost everything in my life that I've been forced to do for some reason, because I played hokey pokey, you know, I didn't want to close my business, you know, I thought thought twice about having a divorce, you know, sometimes when I was in business, I was like, oh my God, if I fire this person, I'm going to be paralyzed, all these things, but I had to, right? So all these things I was forced to do were the best moves in my life, you know, and so when we were forced to stay home, Bilal, hello, ma. How are you? I'm so blessed to have people, friends from all over the world. Bill and I went to college together. Bill, what country are you from exactly? Again, please type it in there. So we went to North Carolina A&T, and at that time it was so funny. I didn't even know people came from other countries to go to that school. And then later he found me on Facebook. He has a beautiful family. He's a beautiful human being. He was a great friend to work with as well. We worked at Roy Rogers together. Oh gosh, back in '85. For people who don't like Facebook, I love Facebook. It allows me to reconnect with people who we would otherwise never see again. So it's a beautiful thing as well. But anyway, so back to, you know, being forced to do things. So being forced to stay at home and not socialize as much as I usually do forced me to do more writing and more thinking and more work on myself. And for those of you, again, who know me, I've been in the personal development field for, oh gosh, I guess it's 26, 27 years now. And it's the best thing that we can all do. And that's learn to develop ourselves, learn who we are, what we want, why we're here, what we're supposed to be doing or not doing. Learn what our talents and skills are. Hey, Sharon, how are you? All of those things, you know, and that's how you do it. You work on you, because if not, we're just robots. We do what we see other people do. We do what our parents taught us or told us we better do, or teachers or ministers or whoever it is you follow, right? Oops, sorry about that. So you have to become this individual, and that's why it's called personal development. You're personally developing you. And that is probably the best thing that's ever happened to me in my life, because I probably, I don't know that I've ever been a follower, but I don't know that I would be who I am today. So I can't tell a lie. So I went down there, I saw my aunts and uncles, and we got to talk. Hey, Tab, we got to talk about things. You know, my dad's been gone, oh gosh, 12 years now. And we got to talk about things that we never got a chance to talk about before. And I got to tell them some of the cool things about my dad and some of the typical things about men of that time and what they did. And they helped develop the family dynamics. So anyway, so it was beautiful. And we got to laugh, and we laughed till we cried sometimes. And, you know, we picked on each other's different little nuances, but it was cool. And, you know, for those of you who see the pictures, and I'm going to bring it up, see the pictures of my family, you notice I'm the lightest thing in each bunch on each side, my mother and my dad's side. And so, of course, my dad is my stepdad, but he's my dad. He's not my biological dad. And so my aunts and uncles, at no point did they ever make me feel like I wasn't a part of that family, a part of my father. And so that was really a cool thing as well, to be able to share with them. So I left from there, and I drove in the middle of the night again, and I drove 5.5 hours to Greensboro, North Carolina, and I got to hang out with my cousins. And so I have 2 other female cousins named the same, Shirley Ann. I am the baby Shirley Ann, and I got to see Shirley Ann Baldwin and Shirley Ann Vanstory. And my big cousin John, he was like a brother to me when I moved down there and went to college. And so it was, again, fun. All of our moms, our cousins that met that day, all of our moms have since passed. So we can't ask them, why did they name all of us Shirley Ann? Now, we know one Shirley. We know her story, which is funny. But we don't know the first Shirley and the last Shirley, what our mothers were thinking about. There's nowhere in our history that it shows any other Shirley. So it's just a mystery that we have. But we had a blast, and we talked about our moms and shared stories about our moms and how similar they were, and their personalities. And, you know, they all got stories about each sister and everything. And so it was just so cool to be able to do that. I don't know when we would have had another time to do that. Hey, Nick, how are you, baby? I don't know when we would have had another time to do that. So again, things that we're forced to do sometimes work out for the best. And that's what we have to learn to do. It's not, woe is me, shit always hits the fan. All right, so it hit the fan. Next, what does that mean? It just makes you take a detour, right? Or makes you sit back and think for a few. So I hung out with those cousins. I left from there. I drove to Virginia, hung out there with some friends for a day and a half. I needed a little rest. And then I drove to Suitland, Maryland, and I went to see my bestie of 40 years, Sharon, or Pinky, as most of you know her. When you can have a friend for 40 years and you stay connected, and then you're disconnected and you connect again, like you don't miss a beat, I think that has to say something about us as people, that we want to stay connected, that we have that much love and faith in each other. Okay, cuz. So it was pretty awesome. We had a blast. We went past our old high school. You like my hoodie? I love this color on me too. Thank you, Smarty Pants. Yeah, she was Pinky Tuscadero, right? And I was Shirley. So it was pretty cool back in the day. So anyway, so we hung out. We went to the old hood. We went past my school. Hey, Sam. We went past my school that we graduated from, and they redesigned. It's beautiful. They even have a pool. That was pretty amazing. And we went to the hood where we got Mambo Wings. If you don't guess, that's right, D, Baloo. But if you don't know about Mambo Wings in D.C., you know nothing. You have to get Mambo Wings from D.C. And it was great. Thanks for the hair. I was trying something different, So anyway, so then we did that, and we ran a couple errands, and then I went over to see my aunt and uncle, Uncle Buck and Aunt Victoria, for those of you who know them. They raised me after my mom passed away. Yeah, all the way back to St. Thomas More. I went past there, D. That was my elementary school. I went to a Catholic elementary school, with the whole plaid outfit, red socks, white shirt, the whole kit and caboodle. But CYO was where it was at, right? We had great sports. So anyway, absolute whirlwind, but it was cool. And I was going to be safe, and I'm going to visit my family. And so that's what I did. And I put do not disturb. How can they still disturb me? Ebony, go away. So anyway, so then I did that, and then I came home, and of course, I had a whole bunch to write about. But more importantly, it was about how important it is for us to have that connection. It was like I came alive. I didn't feel like I was dying. I was feeling good, a little lazy, but I came alive by being able to converse with people and share our history and talk about canning with my cousins. And so we've got some ideas. We're going to try and do some Zoom canning together and things like that. But it was awesome. So I made a list because I wanted to make for sure I covered all these things that, due to COVID, we had to do in certain ways that worked out for the better for me And so my video is going to be a little long today, so if you leave and come back and see it later, it's all good. If you get bored, I understand, but I'm going to share because, more importantly, the words that I speak today will resonate with someone who needs it. And in 20 years from now, my grandbabies will be able to see it and know that I lived every ounce of my life, which is most important to me, the legacy that I leave for them, so that they have a reason to do what they do, because they're currently my reason to do what I do. So after that, what else did I do? Oh, before that, this is going to be funny for some and not so funny for others. Before that, I had dinner with some Trump supporters. So, my granddaughter tells me I shouldn't talk about politics, but I listen to her most of the time, though. She kind of sort of is the boss of me when Jude isn't. But I'm not a Trump supporter. I just can't be, and I'm a business person. I get the business aspect of what he talks about. But I was in an organization that he took part in, and within 6 months to 8 months of him being involved, we went bankrupt. Before that, we were doing great things. So he took our money and he rebranded and remarketed everything, but he took our money. He didn't really bring any money to the game. So I've had firsthand experience with him. So periodically, every couple of years, you'll see a picture pop up with me next to him because, I was part of an organization that they thought they needed him in, and we didn't. But that's the advantage or the disadvantage of being CEOs of companies, making those decisions that'll either make or break you. So the other reason I can't be a supporter of his is that though I'm light-skinned, I am part Puerto Rican and African American. And the way that he is inciting racial disparities already been here forever. He's not helping it. And his comments and his innuendos and the words that he says and doesn't say intentionally, and I won't go into too much politics because I don't really go that in, but they are my dear friends. And sometimes I know some people say, how could you sit with people who don't get what he does wrong? We all have different life experiences. So their life experience is not my life experience. They didn't raise 4 young, 6-foot-something African-American young men who had to have me called to school every couple of weeks because they had their hoods on and they were bad boys and all these things, right? So, so when you see the name Sharon Rose, that's Pinky Tuscadero. That's my bestie of 40 years. Hey, boo, I love you. So they didn't raise them. They didn't have to go into a BMW store or Mercedes store and have the salesperson walk past you because they figure you don't have money no matter how good you're dressed. So they don't know what it's like to not be their hair or their skin. So I can't be angry at them and I can't judge them for that. I can judge them for how they treat me. And I bring that up because I remember when he won, families were separating and didn't like each other, and they couldn't even go to Thanksgiving dinner and things together after. It was horrible. And we have to get beyond these little nuances and things, because that's what they are, because this too shall pass. This too shall pass. I'm not excited that the race is so close. I was sick to my stomach the first night, but I got over it, and I decided, what can I do with my angst and my sadness about how close it is. I would think that more people would be more upset, because even if you're a white American, your kid is going to be sitting next to my kid. Your kid is probably going to end up, hey, Linda, your kid is probably going to end up dating, one of my African-American young men or Latino young men. So you need to get over that. Our kids today are moving so much faster and beyond all of the things that held us back. And thank God they have their own minds. And if it wasn't for young America today, we wouldn't have had whatever your version of Black Lives Matter is. That's your thing. I'm not judging you. I think some things went to the extreme. This is my opinion. But at what point can you be heard, or will people hear you? So sometimes if people aren't listening or to you, you have to stir the shit up. And, that's what they did. I'm not going to agree with looting. I'm not going to agree with burning down businesses. I'm a business owner. If they showed up to burn my store down, we'd have some issues. They'd see a black mama pretty pissed off. So I get all of that stuff. But at some point, if you're not being heard, you have to get on top of a building and scream. And that sometimes it takes me back to when I was in government buildings and fighting for my business or fighting for equality and treat me like you treat my competitor. How does he get the hookup and I don't? And I would speak quite loudly to get my point across. And I would use certain words, and I damn sure use the F-bomb and the shit and all of those words that most people are like, why do you have to use them? Because they get your attention, damn it. And so if that's what you have to do, that's what you have to do. And I remember people, stereotyping me like, oh, that's that angry black woman. No, I'm passionate. And so there's a difference between being angry and passionate. But when you're passionate and then you're angry and no one's listening to you, you got to do something else. So I'm not going to condone it, and I'm not going to go against it. I'm going to just say that if it wasn't for the young generation, black, white, Puerto Rican, Russian, Polish, I don't give a who nanny where you're from, we wouldn't be where we are today, having the right to do what we're doing. A lot more of us would be getting killed, and that's pretty sad. Every day someone's sending me a video from years and months back of more abuse to young black Americans, and I can't look at them anymore. So if any of you send them to me, please don't. It breaks my heart to know that just continues and continues and continues. And all we did was sit by, and so we watched someone on TV with someone's knee on their neck with his hands in his pocket. And it took us that long to catch on, but thank God we did. And now we have to move forward with it. So to any young people watching this eventually, or your parents are watching it, I'm giving you kudos and thanking you for stepping up and not being punks and being afraid to do what you think is right, contrary to what your parents or your grandparents think, or your ministers or whoever else. So thank you for that. So enough of that. So I had dinner with the Trump supporters. I went on a tangent, sorry. So then I had 2 hot tub dates with my bestie. You guys see her, that's Mia. And, we got to share just all the things we were going through. And she, runs a business, and she almost lost it. She's rebuilding it after the pandemic. Think about it. She owns Scrub Masters Plus, and that's a cleaning business. And we never think about someone else's business and what they're going through and the challenges they have. Like for me, I always laugh about it now, but I didn't laugh about it then. No one ever thought about closing the lids on your dumpsters when I owned the garbage business for 24 years. I pay by the pound. So if it rains or snows, I can't charge you for that weight. So I take the loss. So it's just little things about other people's businesses you don't think about. So we need to have, a bigger open mind and take other people's lives into considerations and what they have to deal with. And we'd all have a little better, a better playing field if people did that. So anyway, in her business, she cleans places where people go to work, daycares, medical facilities, hospitals, office spaces, you name it. She did all those things, restaurants. Well, if you have to stay at home and you can't go to school and you are limited to video visits with your doctor, what is she cleaning? KC, hey baby, how are you? I see you working it out every day. Good for you. So it really affected her business, and she was trying to hang on, and people were canceling every week. I'm sorry, we don't have a use for you. No one's coming to the buildings. We have no money. We can't pay our employees, blah, blah, blah. And so, we were all going through different things and different challenges. And I'm very lucky that I have 27 years of business experience that I don't give myself enough credit for sometimes. But I'm glad that I'm able to give insight to people sometimes. And they call me and stuff. So whenever we're together, we always talk about fun stuff. We do a little sing, and she sings, I pretend. And then we talk about business. So we had some great hot tub talk. And then I had 4 international Pride Toastmaster events. So if you don't know about Toastmasters is an international organization to help people become better public speakers for whatever purpose they want to use it for. And so I'm part of an organization called Pride Toastmasters, and we've had 4 meetings. And can I just tell you, it's just amazing to meet new people, first of all. I'm a people person, so I love to meet new people. I think it adds to the quality of my life and my knowledge and experience of what I can share with others, further down the road. But these were young, amazing people who, a lot of them were not from the United States. Some of them live here now, but they weren't originally. And they're so grateful for the things that we disregard or, we take for granted, which is really sad. But, we're human and it happens. We're Americans and we're pretty spoiled. And so there was a young man who spoke about his first time voting. He wasn't old enough to vote, or I don't know if it was his citizenship, what it was, but he couldn't vote the last time. And so he voted this time, and he was literally sick at the voting. He's like, I stayed up all night to watch it. I couldn't eat. I was throwing up. It was so personal to him, for him in his mind, to see a man do so much verbal destruction to his world, to his community, to his nation. And he has to go, and all these things. But he was so upset and angry about it. And here's a foreigner. Technically, he's a citizen today, but he's a foreigner. And he felt like you have to be Stevie Wonder not to be able to see, that this guy shouldn't be in office. But just to hear other people's insight and their visions of what we don't see or what we take for granted was really awesome. And just young, energetic speakers sharing their cultural, their world. There was another young lady the other night from Brazil. And she was sad. We get to speak on different topics. And she was sad, and she shared with us that in Brazil, it was a bad day. I think it was Wednesday, just yesterday. What am I thinking? Time flies. So it was a bad day in Brazil. And so, we were like, why? And she told us that there was a young girl who was raped by I don't know, somebody, of course, special there. And he didn't get charged because they went to her Instagram page and realized that she had a practice of dressing inappropriately according to them. So he did not get charged with her rape. So there are still injustices all over the world. And as human beings, we have to fight to make our justice system a whole lot better than it is everywhere. And so that was pretty cool. The story was sad, but it was cool that she shared things with us, because sometimes we feel like we're the only ones going through things, or it only happens to us. So that was pretty cool. And of course, my weekly visits to my gran. For those you guys get to see Jude, he's the boss of me. And Michaela, who is taller than me and her mother now, at 5'3". And I can't even believe how fast she's grown. When your kids grow fast, and you're so busy raising them and working and doing things, it's very different than seeing your grandchildren grow so fast before you. It's also the coolest thing in the world. Your kids, the only reason you let your kids live is so that you can get to your grandkids. So it's pretty cool and amazing. So thank you, Stinky, for bringing me my grandkids. I let you live anyway. But I gave you life anyhow, so whatever. Tuesday mornings. So I have Tuesday mornings, and I'm sharing with you some rituals, some things I've been doing, because I'm going to get to, a story at the end. So hopefully some of you who are bored of my talking will come back later and listen to it, because I know it's long, but I feel like doing it today. It's a beautiful day, and I feel like sitting in the sun and talking to you. So Tuesday. So I'm a coach. Hey, Sharita. Hey, cuz. How are you? So I'm a coach. I'm an international health and wealth life coach with an organization called Healthy, Wealthy, and Wise out of Canada. And I also have my own coaching business called Ordinary Greatness. And so with the Healthy, Wealthy, and Wise coaching organization, I don't promote it a lot. I don't sell it a lot. It is an organization of coaches or people who want to be coached or learn how to be coaches. And we work on our spiritual health, our mental health, our physical health, eating habits. We work on our personal development as a whole. And I don't know what I would have done without this organization during my whole ordeal. I won't go over the whole ordeal for some of you who have followed me and know, but I owned a business for 24 and a half years, and I had to sell it in a Chapter 11 bankruptcy. So whether it's a good or bad thing, it's a transition for you. And so you have to go through this thing. And so riding a high and being so successful and doing so many things, when you have that low, you have to get your shit together. And so I was part of this organization because I was looking for the next thing to do before I closed up that business. And luckily I went for training, and, they invited me in to go a little further with them. And I didn't know what I was signing up for. But 6 years ago, it was probably the best thing at that time I had done for myself, because it allowed me to be around a group of visionaries, forward thinkers, people with open minds, no judgment. It doesn't mean that I agreed with everything they did or they taught me or they said. You take from things what serve you and leave the rest alone. But most people would get involved and be like, oh, I don't like this and I don't like that. And you can't do that, because you're robbing yourself of a great experience. You're robbing yourself of things you don't even know that's going to come your way. So there were several times, because you do have to pay to be a part of it. We tend to look at money sometimes when we shouldn't. And there were many times that I wanted to quit. I wanted to leave. I didn't feel like I was getting, my money's worth. But, it's just like network marketing. I've been a network marketer for 27 years. It's not for everyone, but it damn sure ain't going to work for you if you don't work it. So I wasn't working it the way that I was supposed to. But I also had so much going on. I was still going through my bankruptcy, rebuilding my life, all this kind of things, still, being single and after the divorce and all the kids are gone. So all those things are happening in your life and you think, oh, I'm so crazy. No, shit's happening. And you just keep going and you don't realize what's happening. But being a part of this community has helped me keep my sanity, has helped me stay relevant. And so we meet every Tuesday, and we have been, oh my gosh, almost as soon as, I don't remember. If anybody's listening, maybe you'll type it and tell me. But I want to say it's been at least 6 months, I think, 5-6 months, that every Tuesday we've been on a meeting, on a group call, to talk about this pandemic, to talk about international stuff, what's going on in the world as a whole, because all you get to hear really local news wherever you're from or from the United States, but everything affects us. The pandemic didn't start here. It came from somewhere else. So we talk about international news. We talk about, different things that we could be doing to enlighten ourselves, to help us get through this, to talk about depression, stress. We're coaching each other. We're helping each other. And then we talk about how to make money. We talk about strategies. We talk about, the market and what's going on out there. I don't know how many of you belong to an organization that helps you do all of that. Some of you don't need it. Some of you could use it. I don't promote it because I don't feel as though, I don't want to drag people through things. If you see that I'm doing something, then, give me a holler. Say, Shirley, what is that? My life purpose on this planet is this knowledge that I've gained and experience I've gained serves me no good if I take it with me, right? So I need to share it. And to whom much is given, much is expected. So I know I have work ahead of me. So never hesitate to ask me about it. And I will give you the site. It's called, you can go to wealthitforward.com and check it out. If it's something that interests you, then, give me a holler. If not, it's all good. So I feel like I knew everything that was going to happen. We talked about, what Trump was going to do and how he's trying to set this up to have, this fight to try to hang on. But thank God there are some laws and things in place that when he loses, he'll get his happy ass out of there. The other thing I've been able to do during this whole pandemic is watch my baby girl. So I don't know how much weight she's lost, but she doesn't really talk about her weight. She talks about her lifestyle. Unfortunately, she grew up in my home. So there were lots of things going on in my home, but most importantly is culture and tradition. So she ate the foods. She was pickier though. She didn't eat everything that the boys ate, but she ate the foods that I was taught to cook that may not be the healthiest for you. She grew up on dairy, mac and cheese. Everybody who comes to my party comes for the infamous mac and cheese, but that's not necessarily the best thing for you. So she later realized that she had IBS, irritable bowel syndrome, and all kinds of other things, but she realized that dairy was her enemy. And for those of you who have lots of stomach issues, I would beg of you to attempt to remove dairy first and then add it back in to find out, what's ailing you, but start with dairy. She's taught me a lot about food and what we put into our body. So she decided to join an organization. She never wanted to join the organizations that I wanted her in. I hope she's listening. But I don't care. The point is there are many opportunities, and you have to choose what serves you. So she chose what served her. A group of younger women, products and things that help your children more so. And she's doing phenomenal at it. She's quit her full-time job and specifically does this, and she's also a life coach, and she's a parenting life coach. But I've watched her waistline shrink. I've watched her spirit soar. I've watched her smile. She has my smile, by the way. It's not her smile. She has my smile. I'm the original. I tell her that. But I've just watched her transform into, I don't know, I haven't figured out the adjective yet, but I've watched her transform. So it's pretty cool because all we can do as parents is do the best we can. They don't come with directions, and they're all individuals. And I'm sure down the road we'll be doing some things together. But our arrangement wasn't always perfect, because if you're a mom and a daughter, you know it's tough with moms and daughters, you know. And so it was tough for us for a little while, and we had our thing. And I'm proud of her, and I'm happy that we were able to fix whatever it was and move forward and become professionals and become, you know, loving and caring to each other. But I guess I probably came to my senses when she had my grandchildren, because they were most important to me, because I wasn't able to meet my grandparents and spend time with them. So, you know, I had one grandma that was alive, and all the rest were deceased, you know, as I became older. So I wanted to be able to experience that and have the experience with her that my mom couldn't have with me. So I'm blessed to be able to say that I could do that. And then the final thing I'll talk about is I joined an organization. You hear me sometimes talk about another coach in my life. I have several coaches, because dealing with me, I'm sure, is like herding cats sometimes. So I have several coaches. So Allegra Stein, we've known each other now for 6 years, and I've done lots of different things with her. She's an amazing coach. She's an amazing human being, first of all, but she's a great teacher, and she has this huge open mind, and she just thinks from all different places and takes you there and brings you there, and before you know it, you're sitting like right there with everything in front of you that you thought you couldn't reach or you had no clue or ability to get to. So she created this group called Misfits to Mavericks. And it's about being coaches. We're all pretty much, most of us are all healers, coaches, teachers in the health industry. We're all, you know, professionals in those arenas. And what she inspires us to do is to do whatever it is we do our way. It's not cookie cutter, because a lot of you know, you go to a job and someone tells you to do it this way, it doesn't work for you. And if you're doing it, if a right-handed person is teaching you how to do it and you're left-handed, you know, you're all jacked up. So we have our own unique ways of learning and doing things. And so she has inspired us to coach our way, to find our message and our purpose and our perfect client by doing certain things. And that's by being and doing what's true to us. And so it is really cool to be in a group of people that we get in our own little space outside of Facebook, our own little group, and we share ideas, and, you know, we throw it out there, and she's putting things out there for us to think about, to be creative, because the current status of this world today, traditional doesn't cut the mustard. And I see the sun in a different way. I don't know if you guys can see me. So traditional doesn't cut the mustard. So you have to go above and beyond and do unique and creative things to help people get to the next level, if that's the work you're into. So that's the work I'm into. I used to say that I'm the voice for those until they find their own. And, you know, I help people sort through the trash in their life, recycle their lessons learned to find their purpose, passion, and mission on this planet. So all those things, I feel like I'm a servant. And so her unique ways of getting us to get out of our boxes and to technically get off of Facebook, because you can get caught up in all those posts and all those things, and you get sidetracked from doing the work you're supposed to do. So it's been really cool to connect with other coaches and have ideas and toss them out there. And, you know, I'm not afraid to share my ideas, because you better bet, even if someone was to take my ideas, they'll never be able to deliver them the way that I do. So I'm not concerned about competition or anyone else, because I have my unique style, my own vocabulary, my own humor. So I'm not ever concerned about that. So all of that to say that I've been doing nothing but reconnecting with people, because we've been so separate and apart, and there's no hugging and touching and, you know, all the social stuff that I was doing. So we have to find new ways. And I had to get comfortable with this whole Zoom and video stuff, other than with my kids, right? My grandkids. I'm going to move out the sun just a little bit and try. I don't know if it works, but I can't see you guys. Or I can't see myself anyway. So I did all of that, and it's been pretty cool and fun. Aw, thank you, Sam. So Sam isn't my life coach, but she is my friend, and she's a mentor, and she has guided me. I met her 6 years ago when I joined this organization of life coaches, and I don't think there's two odder people that would connect, but we connected, and I love her, and She's taken my daughter under her wing and done some amazing things with her too. And we've traveled and collaborated, and we're going to be doing some more collaboration. I'm excited about it. She called me. And she's like, would you like to collaborate? I was like, are you kidding me? What planet, what century, wherever, just tell me, where to be. But she's taught me a lot about patience and the value of my own self-worth because, we're human. We question it. She'd always say, just go do it and all those things. So it was great. And for some of you who see her name, Sam Black, Sam is the Sam Black that also teaches, I love you too, teaches classes with me at the women's event every year that we have at the college. Unfortunately, this year we had to cancel, but hopefully we'll be able to do something next year. If not, I don't know, we'll find a way, right, Sam? We'll have to create an online something for all those women that follow us and love and trust our help and guidance. So anyway, all of that to say again about connection. Find your way to connect. Find what makes you feel good. Find what you need to move to the next level. And keep your eyes pierced and open because I'm going to be creating a 7-step program on getting to the next level. A lot of us carry a lot of baggage and luggage with us. And you have to learn to let stuff go. And, you hear that, let it go, but you really do. And so during this time, I've created a pretty cool 7-step program. And I'm looking for 3 to 5 women to help me pilot this project. And it'll be super, super feasible, but not cheap because it's going to be great. And it's going to be rewarding for all of us. So I'm looking for 3 to 5 women. So if you're interested, inbox me and we'll talk about it. And I'm going to, I'm hoping that we'll be able to fire it up December 1st. So make sure you inbox me if you'd like to be one of those 3 to 5 women. And I want to encourage you to connect to people. Forgiveness is important. I'll close on this. I went to my aunt's funeral on Monday. And I remember as a kid, she would always come from Queens up here to upstate New York. And, she'd only could stay for a little while. She got to get back to her kids. She acted like, she had 1 million kids. And I'm like, you got a few sons and a daughter. What are you talking about? And at her funeral, I'm not ready to go, but I'll tell you this. When I go, that's the way I want to go. She passed at home with her children and grandchildren all surrounding her, and my one auntie was there. And at the funeral, her grandchildren, and when her great-grand, not grandchildren, her great-grand, I remember my mother's funeral. It was 42 years ago. The makeup wasn't the same as it is today, and they made her up, and it didn't look like her, and I was scared of my own mother. Like, I jetted out of the church. My white brother from another mother, Warren, had to grab me and console me and hold me. I couldn't bear to look at my mother in that casket. These babies, I'm talking 6 to 10 years old, 12 years old, they were touching her and talking to her. Hey, Geneva. And they were kissing her, and they were having a conversation with her. They had no fear. All they had was love. And then the teenagers got up and spoke about their memories of her and the role she played in their life. And there were foster kids. So now I know why she was talking like she had so many kids. There was probably 40 kids there that she raised, took to the church. The minister talked about how she had 2 rows of kids she drugged to church with her. And whether you believe in God, worship, do whatever, the point is that we need a foundation and a place to be able to help these kids build a foundation. And though their lives were kind of jacked up when they met her, she gave them as much love and attention as she had in her little 5-foot body, because I was taller than her, and I'm 5'2". But those kids got up and spoke about how important she was to them, how she saved their lives. One young man, I know you couldn't have got him to speak any other where in the world. He got up to that mic and he said, she saw me in the streets. I looked like a bum. My shoes was raggy. And she brought me in the house and she put clothes on me from her kids. And she fed me. And every time she saw me, she said, come on in here and eat. And before you knew it, Grandma was taking care of me. So he automatically called her Grandma. And everybody got up and told their story. One young girl from a foster home, she's like, I was in the foster care system. She had faith in me, and she trusted me, and she took me in. And just imagine if we did more of that. I can't say that you have to trust everyone, but there are people that you can give a hand up, not necessarily a hand out. There are people that we have information and abilities that we can help people become better people. If we don't see any other reason, look at what's in the White House right now, and look at what has happened to us as a nation, as a people. Other nations are like, they feel bad for us. We're the United States of America. What in the haystack? So it starts from the bottom up, and we have to start being better citizens and better human beings to other people and helping as many as possible. And, it starts at home, and it starts when they're young. We all know that when they hit about 5, they are who they are, unless we have some amazing ability to help them change their lives or see themselves in a better view than they are already. So I'm going to close with that and say that I know I drove you guys crazy and I was long, but hopefully there was something that someone could get out of each part, no matter how long you listened. And if there's anything that I didn't talk about that you'd like me to talk about, send me a message, put it in the post, do whatever you'd like. But I appreciate you guys for hanging in there this long. And I love you all. Thank you for appreciating my work and supporting me and giving me cheers and encouragement along the way. I'm just going to read a call. Oh, yeah, Sam. I know, right? We always had so much fun up at the college. But you guys have a great day. For all my high school friends that pop on and listen, I appreciate you guys more than you know. Looking forward to our year anniversary. Hey, Lionel. Gosh, what's it going to be? You graduated in 84. Whew. All right, never mind. Anyway, I'll talk to you guys soon. You guys have a great day. And I guess I didn't introduce myself. I just started talking. So I'm Shirley Felder, CEO of Ordinary Greatness and a life coach with the Healthy, Wealthy, and Wise organization. Hoping that you all realize that you have the ability to take back control of your health and your wealth. And anything that happens to you, make it happen for you. Have a great day.